my pleasure to introduce Gerhard Kaltenborn and Aman Bhattarai from zeroG. Gerhard is Chief Experience Officer and Aman is Senior Business Data Analyst at zeroG, a subsidiary of Lufthansa Systems that is dedicated to unlock the intrinsic power of data to improve the world of aviation. These two will give us an insight in how artificial intelligence, AI, can help to improve on-time departure. Ladies and gentlemen, a really exciting topic. Gentlemen, would you like to come over, please? Gerhard, Aman, please.
Hi.
This is your stage now, and I'll just hand over to you. Please rock the stage.
Thank
you very much, Olivier.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll move over here.
So I think that's fine. Hi, my name is Gerhard. I'm from zeroG and I'm here together with my colleague Aman.
Hi.
And the two of us will today talk about a very specific use of artificial intelligence. It's a technology we use to improve on-time, not on-time performance, but on-time departure. Sorry. And I know today we had quite a lot of fancy topics today, and this one might not win the Crystal Cabin Award, but nevertheless it's very important because all of us actually want to have an on-time flight. So let's have a look at this. And who are we actually? We are zeroG, a very young company that creates data science solutions to improve aviation. And we do apply artificial intelligence technology to understand the need of passengers and to optimize processes. To get a first idea about how the use of data can be used to improve processes, we thought we have a quick look, for example, on how this flight actually is usually boarded. So you see here a picture of this aircraft, the main deck and the upper deck, and I'm pressing the button now and you can have a look how this usually is boarded. You see in the upper picture the business class is quickly filling up, but all the economy seats are quite random filling up, and there's not a very good structure behind it. And you can see up there the time is running, and it takes about 28 to 30 minutes actually to board this plane. So visualizing an insight like this with the data available can be very valuable to design and improve processes. So the question is, how could we accelerate this? How can we speed up that process? And having it done the way we did it, it now is pretty easy to start thinking about that. And it could look, for example, like this. We could start boarding from window to center, or in the middle rows from center to aisle, and you can see that would come up in a very much more structured process, and probably we could save a couple of minutes here and speed up that process. So before we get in the real topic we're talking about, we thought we share some more details and facts and fun facts even about this flight, and we'll hand that over to Aman here, who will share some insights with you.
Thank you, Gerhard. We are just on board, and then we were looking at how people are actually onboarding this aircraft. Did you know it actually takes 29 minutes on average to board this Lufthansa 452? And that's actually 4 minutes less than what it takes on weekdays. So on weekdays, I guess we're a bit more chaotic. And on this flight, Gerhard, 51% of people are actually flying for business, and 20% of them are just staying in LA for the weekend. It's crazy the amount of jet setters we have. Since we are so many people flying on this aircraft, they are bringing tons of luggage as well. We have 7.2 tons of passenger baggages that are transported on this flight. That equals an African bush, the largest elephant in the world. And if we talk about all of us, the passenger, luggage, all the things that are on this aircraft, that's equivalent to 485 tons, which is around 70 African bush. So tons of stuff is flying around. Also, since talking about fun facts, since we took off in Munich, did you know 220 glasses of wine have already been served on this flight?
That wasn't me.
We made a comparison with how passengers in Japan are actually performing compared to this. And actually on this flight, it's 3% less than the flights to Japan. But coffee, it's 400 cups. people are drinking 12% more coffees on this flight compared to the ones in Japan. Can be because this is a day flight. We still got a long day in LA, but Japan, it's a night flight, so people just don't wanna drink coffee so that they don't fall asleep. 20 special meals have been prepared and are being served on this flight, which is 9% less than on the flights to Japan. So Japanese people seem to be a bit more polite on, yeah, I don't want to disturb, just give me anything, I'll drink, I'll eat it. And very interesting thing is there are around 1100 plastic cups that are being consumed. So looks like people are actually drinking lots of Coke. 45% more than what people do in Japan on the routes. So it's crazy. So let's go somehow back to Munich. The aircraft came, we were just in the on the departure gate, and then lots of things were happening. So the jetway connected, people disembarked, the goods that were coming on the aircraft got out, the hour luggages got in the aircraft, catering got in, people got into the aircraft, and somehow a pushback trailer. It just took us, and then the aircraft actually boarded.
That whole process is what we call turnaround.
Exactly.
Right?
So the whole thing is what we call turnaround, and turnaround is very important for a flight punctuality. To tell you a really story, what happens is across each of these steps that we saw, data are being collected because people are supposed to do each of those activities at the right time. There is a reference model where they have to behave. But then people are just manually calculating, all right, I'm supposed to do that in 15 minutes. They just took a stopwatch and then say, it happened in 15 minutes. So every time people are faking it because the data collection.
They want to be.
Because it's what the service level agreement is decided on.
Sure,
it's how their performance is based on.
It's a manual process.
Exactly. So it's a very manual process and nothing can be done. So as a result, what happens? There is a reactive handling. There is no real-time data. People don't know what's happening. Unless the cabin is clean, passenger cannot come out. But nobody knows when this thing was supposed to be done and when it happened. There is unforeseen delays, and then there are a lot of SLA negotiation goes into the question because nobody knows what's happening, and there is a problem because people are not getting to fly on time.
All right. I get it. So what we're learning here, it's a very manual process.
Absolutely.
Manuel, and it's very crucial to an on-time departure.
Yeah.
So we thought about a solution about this, and it's a solution using artificial intelligence. We call this deep turnaround. It's a machine learning solution that uses cameras at the gate to collect the real-time data of the turnaround process. Now, let's have a look what that actually looks like. Let's see how this works in action. What you see here is the camera at the gate capturing what's happening all around the aircraft. It's the gangway attached, it's the stairway attached, it's the fueling starting, it's the fueling completed. This all is captured by the camera. But the very important part is that the machine learning technology translates this into, we call it timestamps. And these timestamps are then our real-time data. And what's so great about this is that this real-time data is not only a tremendous support for the day of operations for everybody incorporated, like the turnaround manager, the ops and hubs control, ground handlers. For them, it's a big help to have that data right at hand and very precise, but it's also very great support for planning, because we creating data we can use. We're actually creating historical data, and knowing what happened and what's happening is helps us tremendously to look forward and predict what's going to happen. So that's the real benefit of all this, what we're doing here. So, and Aman is now going to show you what that actually looks like.
All right, so we are looking at gate A5 at the moment. You see the green dots that you see over there, they're actually cameras. They will be installed at the departure gate, and as we saw in the picture before, those cameras will be able to capture the images of actual processes that are happening live. And our AI solution is able to identify that this is a catering truck, this is a baggage loader, this is a fuel tank, and all of those data transmissions are done live in real time, and it flows into a central system. And as a user, as a turnaround manager or as a flight manager, you're able to see what's actually happening. So you see these green lines that are just moving around. That's basically the gray ones are the ones your reference model, meaning when it was supposed to start and when it was supposed to end. The green
And the
is
green one
showing
is the actual
one. So you see in some of the cases, the green one happened even before the gray one was planned to be, but in some cases, it's just taking way longer.
It's a good example. I think they're all in time, but it would turn red if they're not, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
here, apparently on this
Yeah.
example, things happen on time.
I get it.
But now, the flight managers will be able to, in real time, see which process is creating a bottleneck. Where should we push people or our the partners who are working on that, so that activities can be done on time. So passengers, so next time when you are there, sitting on the departure gate and then see, oh, the aircraft is there, pilot has already gone in, why am I still outside? Why the plane has still not got everybody inside? These are the things. So when this deep turnaround will be implemented soon in the market, then the airlines and the airports will be able to identify the process bottlenecks and things will happen on time.
Sounds good. So this single source of truth that we created here for all involved parties like the airport, the airline, the ground handler, it really increases productivity, it enhances flight and crew operations, it enables sustainable and a safe handling. But ultimately, and that's why we're here as well, is it really creates also a great passenger experience, because there's one thing we all want. We want to be on time, but it's not only this. You can be sure with that your baggage will be on board, your special meal will be ordered and on board, and you will receive that. Your seat will be clean and tidy, and as I said, it will start at the time it was to start. So, and that was it from Aman and me, and we thank you a lot
so much
for your attention.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Come closer.
All right, come a little
Otherwise, we're
closer.
not going to be on the screen, the three of us. I have a couple of questions here. I decided that I'll start with you, Gerhard, and I'll combine two of the questions that we just received. What other opportunities do you see for artificial intelligence to reshape the aviation industry, and how can AI streamline the passenger experience?
Okay.
Maybe you want to start with the second
Yes.
one. And then come into
No,
the
I can start with that one. What other opportunities we have? Because very easy for me, we do have another project running. We call that AIOCC, Artificial Intelligence Operational Control Center. To explain that quickly, we have ops controllers sitting in front of lots of screens, usually a minimum of 6 screens, who try to keep flights punctual every day, around the clock, 24/7. That's a very difficult job, and it captures all your attention. But still, we have way more information available to make a better job. But you can't provide this information all to those ops controllers. They would go crazy with all this information. So we're using artificial intelligence to make it easier and to produce recommendations. And they will be sent on the screen, and then the ops controllers can follow that recommendation, which is based on a lot more information than any human being can capture. So that's another project we're doing, also improving on-time departure. Your second question, where are we heading with all this? Artificial intelligence. I say it's going to happen. Everything we've seen today, it's all going to happen. When it comes to personalization, it's all going to happen. In a few years, I want to fly to LA. I will tell Alexa, hey, in 2 days, I have to fly to LA. Can you please arrange this for me? That might be all I have to do. And I will have a flight book, the price I'm willing to pay. I will have a seat, the window seat I like. I will be picked up by a car with a driver or without a driver. That's already arranged and will be bring there. Maybe my hotel will be booked as well. This is all going to happen, and this is all based on what we call personalization. But there's one thing we at zeroG really follow up through, and that's very important for us. We call that we're living in a perpetual new. There's continuously new. What's new today is old tomorrow, but we believe there's one constant here, and that's humans, that's us, that's human needs. They don't really change, actually. And this is something we are always aware of and we're always looking into. So, because if everything around me and offered to me based on my past, what I once said I like, it all might become pretty boring, that life. Where's the adventure? Where's the surprise? So we have to keep that, and that's very important to us. And maybe let me finish up with that.
We have enough time, sufficient time left. Please.
I was one of the few people or involved people who created the purpose for Lufthansa, and I might quote the first sentence of that because it fits so nicely into there now. The first sentence quotes is like, "We believe humans are born explorers," and let's just say, let's keep exploring and let's not get boring.
Yeah, this is very interesting what you're saying, and I think what we all need to be aware of is that only because it is possible from a technical perspective, it doesn't necessarily make sense, right? We
Absolutely.
always need to ask that question. On the other side, we always have to find the balance also that we do not forget about the core needs actually, and see how can we apply new technology developments to those needs in order to make life a lot easier, convenient, but also processes more specialized, and at the end of the day, then very helpful for us humans.
That's what it's all about. Why wouldn't we do it otherwise?
And that is almost philosophical. I would like to ask you a question, which I would change slightly to the one that we received here.
Okay.
You spoke about artificial intelligence, and I'll add a little bit of my own flavor. I think, in my eyes, allow me to state that the term is a bit misleading, because if I look into what many people think of when they think of intelligence, it is actually to combine new things out of a scenario that I have maybe not even experienced before. And if I look into what you just presented, the deep turnaround, it's a lot about data. It's a lot about finding the right algorithm to combine the data and to take the findings out of, which then help us to make better decisions or to be more efficient and so on. Nevertheless, is that really intelligence, or is it just a mathematical combination that allows us to produce results which we're not able before because we didn't have the computing power?
So there are multiple things to it. AI is and machine learning is like a black box. Yeah, without a human intelligence, artificial intelligence cannot work. It's like, if you give good thing, it will create a good thing out. If you give crappy data, the result that it's going to give out is going to be crappy. So it's really about understanding what data are you providing to the machine, and it's not the algorithm that solves the problem. It's a human who understands the data and identifies the data that's valuable, and the machine is just analyzing. It has a higher computing power, more than what our brain can handle. That's all it's doing. Algorithm can never solve the problem. So all we need to do is capture the data. That's very important. So different processes, understand that, and then feed into the machine. And then also the biggest challenge is also the result comes out of the algorithm, and how do we interpret? Unless we are able to really interpret and put that into the business processes and apply that, millions and billions of euros or dollars can be spent on artificial intelligence technologies, but unless it's really applicable and you can really get a business value out of it, there is no point. So it's really human intelligence. I still believe this is still powerful than this.
So we do not have to be scared actually of artificial intelligence, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the human intelligence still has to be there. As Gerhard said, humans have to be there. We should not be considered as a data point. We should be considered as humans. And the whole AI and machine learning should treat us as humans and create products and services what humans would need, not a data point would need.
Excellent. Gentlemen, I think we could talk for hours. It is an amazing topic with a lot of point of views. What I can say is, from an airline IT perspective, I'm really looking forward to a lot more innovations coming from zeroG, but also the partners that we're working jointly together with. In this sense, thank you so much.